think?
I think the same. It's got a 30, 45 minutes, hour, whatever. It's got to end up in a longer term match. Even if it's not an Iron Man match, Iron Woman match, it's got to end up in a long match.
Yeah. Okay. It's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, that's actually the match that I want to see going. Like, that's the match that I want to see at SummerSlam.
Oh, absolutely.
I think, yeah, I think that one deserves a good spot on the card, but they need to start building quickly. They only got 4 weeks to go.
Now, hot topic of the week. I'm going to start off.
Yep.
Let me just read you for the listeners who don't know specifically what's been said out there. I'm going to start off by reading a quote, a tweet, which I guess these days is a quote, from Titus O'Neil. And it starts off, "To my gracious fans in the WWE Universe, the reports and rumors concerning my boycotting Extreme Rules in Pittsburgh is false and inaccurate. I was not scheduled to attend or be a participant in Extreme Rules," and I'm paraphrasing this whole thing, shorten it up a bit for the show's sake, "and was not booked for the show. The talent present in Pittsburgh, which I was a part of, was asked to attend a mandatory meeting in which Mr. Terry Bollea," which is Hulk Hogan, "addressed everyone and informed the same that he would be reinstated into the Hall of Fame. At no point during, after, or otherwise did I make any scene concerning Mr. Bollea's communication to the talent. In addition, let it be known that I did not refuse to shake Mr. Bollea's hand. We did not have any type of one-on-one interaction whatsoever that would or did necessitate any exchange between us individually. As to the reinstatement of Mr. Bollea, I can only communicate that I am a proponent of second and even third chances for individuals that show true remorse, acknowledgement of wrongdoing, fulfillment of their punishment, if applicable, and otherwise put forth sincere efforts to correct the issues. Unfortunately, I must echo the sentiment and dissatisfaction expressed by many of my fellow contemporaries concerning Mr. Bollea's apology and its lack of contrition, remorse, and a desire to change. Mr. Bollea's apology, that he did not know he was being recorded, is not remorse for the hateful and violent utterances he made, which reprised language that has caused violence against blacks and minorities for centuries. I stand firm in my position that Mr. Bollea is entitled to reinstatement. He was and is a role model, hero, and icon to countless people. I hope that Mr. Bollea's missteps in communicating to the WWE talent in Pittsburgh are not repeated to his fans, and I expect that he shall pursue an agenda that clearly communicates to all third parties that his language was inappropriate, wrong, and should not be tolerated in a civilized and inclusive society." Titus then goes on to talk about, as a father of 2 young black men, I've spent their entire life and majority of my adult life with one singular focus, being a role model for my children and young black boys and girls. I take the tremendous pride in my charity work. I teach my sons love and tolerance for everybody. Hope this clears up any confusion. I, like the New Day, will continue to use my platform to positively affect and impact people. Now, I'm going to paraphrase this just to keep it short for show's sake. And this isn't just me and Sage highlighting the points that go towards what we're saying. Kofi Kingston also chimed in. "To the WWE Universe and whoever else may concern, this will be the only statement we will make," and this is New Day speaking on behalf of the New Day. "This will be the only statement we will make regarding Hogan's reinstatement. We do not wish to spend the energy debating the point, because between our kids, venues, etc., we don't have the time for it. We are only writing this simply to provide an answer to many who have bombarded us with questions. We preface this statement by emphasizing that this is our opinion and not of the WWE or anybody else. How do we feel? We're indifferent. We are not happy, sad, angry, or resentful. Who WWE puts into the Hall of Fame is totally and completely up to the company, and from a career standpoint, there is no argument whether Hogan should have his place in the Hall of Fame. We have no problem with his reinduction in the slightest degree. It is impossible to even begin to mention the history and evolution of the business without mentioning his name and accolades. Now, on a personal level, when someone makes racist and hateful comments about any race, or group of people, especially to the degree Hogan made, we find it difficult difficult to simply forget, regardless of how long ago it was, or the situation in which those comments were made. But we also do not respond with feelings of more hate. Great point, by the way. Instead, we just do not associate with the people who convey or have conveyed this negative and hateful mindset. This instance will be no different. Perhaps if we see him make a genuine effort to change, then maybe our opinion will change him. Time will tell. Through the course of our lives, people have used racist comments towards us, and it doesn't feel good. But if we stopped moving forward every time we were met with prejudicial hatred, then we would never have achieved our current accomplishments. We know we're worth it, we know our kids are worth it, and most importantly, we know that our people that look like us are worth it and always have been. And to paraphrase, having said that, his reinstatement won't change anything for us. New Day is, for the long story short, super positive about the whole thing, and we're positive within one another, and we're going to continue to do what we do. We're going to continue to do what we love to do, and deliver an entertaining product each week. Thoughts on Hogan being put back in the Hall of Fame? Great for Titus and the New Day. Great commentary on that.
Yep. So when we originally were speaking of this, I came off with the mindset that, all of us make mistakes, and he owned up to it, and he's gone publicly saying that, that he messed up.
Also, just to chime in, if you go back and you watch our YouTube feed, you could actually find our commentary on Hogan. If you look up Black Men Discussing Hogan on YouTube, if you go back to the show, this was a month ago, we were not debating what happened or reinstatement or anything like that directly. We were actually comparing the level of severity between Enzo, Rich Swann, and Hogan, and the level of severity between the instances that happened between the three of them. But now, today, it's official. 2 black men discussing Hulk Hogan.
Yep. For the most part, I'm still in that mindset that we've got to come at some point. We have to come at some point to where we have to forgive people for their transgressions, especially if, and this is where my commentary is probably different from what I said last time, if they make a sincere effort to change their way, not making excuses for what they have done. They own up to it, and they, are sincere in that efforts. I know that, last time, Goose, you were concerned that maybe he's just doing this for the money, and that's a valid argument. Where I take umbrage to this is, and I don't know if it was just a slip of the tongue thing, or he just didn't know what he was saying, or if he just sincerely believes this, is I don't like it when people make excuses that, hey, this was in a private moment and I was recorded without me being known, because it doesn't make it all right.
No, not at all.
In my opinion, it doesn't. It's like saying, hey, it's okay for me to be a racist as long as I'm not being a racist in public. It's not okay to be a racist, period. Whether you think the cameras are on or if it's off. And for those who defend that, I've saw a lot of commentary, especially off of Kofi's feed. Those who defend that or allude that to, someone being in prison and for murdering somebody, and it's not the same. It's not. You either are remorseful for what you do, or you pretend that you're remorseful so that you can get what you want, and the latter of the two doesn't do anyone justice at all.
If you have that word in your vocabulary and you're hanging out with white people and you have that word in your vocabulary, it's not okay at all. That's bad. It's terrible. If you have, I could spit off 10, 20 other racial terms. Now, here's the difference. If Hogan, he was referencing his daughter seeing somebody, whatever, but if you use that word like he used it in a spiteful way, That's bad. Now, if he would have just got caught, I said this on the podcast a month ago. If he would have maybe got caught, and this is difficult to even do, saying a bad joke. There's racial jokes out there everywhere. You can Google it, watch Daniel Tosh. There's racial jokes everywhere. Got caught in a racial joke that just wasn't funny. All right, maybe a little bit different. But that word is you say that, and then you come into a locker room, and one of the references you make is, "Hey, I didn't know I was being recorded." As a black man, hell, as an Indian man, as a white man, that's got to be out of your vocabulary. There's no excuse, no reason for you to use that term. If the reasoning is, like you said, "Hey, I'm sorry, didn't know I was being recorded." I don't give a shit if you're recorded. That just means to me, you say these racial terms when you're not being recorded. That to me is no different than anybody who cheats on their wife and says, some celebrity cheats on their wife and they're on TMZ next week and they say, "Ugh, sorry, babe, I didn't know I was recorded." What the hell do you mean you didn't know you were recorded? That means you've probably used that word more than once. Hey, sir, you've probably cheated on somebody more than once. Hogan should not be allowed back in the Hall of Fame. I don't give a shit who thinks he should. Your contributions to the WWE, they can get erased real quick. Real quick. You do something bad. Matter of fact, I'm going to go off to an extreme here. Chris Benoit's not in the Hall of Fame. What he did was terrible. There's no remorse. There's no correction for it. Obviously, that's to the extreme here, but that does prove a point of, hey, you know what? There is some stuff that you can do out there that's just overboard. It's just too much. It's way too much. You can't do that. That word can't be in your vocabulary. Matter of fact, it can't be in your vocabulary when you say these things. And you could argue the biggest WWE name of all time is a half-black man who's the biggest draw in Hollywood right now.
That's right.
And Dwayne Johnson. And The Rock has commented. He's put his thoughts out there on this stuff. But you say that word, and part of your reasoning is, "I'm sorry I was being videotaped." That's not good. I don't care who you are. If you take Hogan out of it, if you call me that on the street, first off, I'm not going to give you the time of day because you're trashy. I don't have time for that. You got to go live in your own world. You're using that word, you got bigger problems than me. If it's in your vocabulary, it shouldn't be. There's that word, the N-bomb, and I could think of 20 other words that are not in the vocabulary of a non-racist person.
Yeah, I mean, and none of them are okay. And the other issue that I have a problem with is that WWE is going to try to capitalize on this by doing a 24-hour special of Hogan acting as though this is like a redemption story. And I don't know how I feel about that. I think I might be even a little bit more upset about that than I am about the fact that Hogan made those comments about it being okay to use that because that's how it was back in the old days, or let me paraphrase it a bit more clear. I think he said that the reason why it slipped out is because back in the old days in Florida it was common for them to say that, but that doesn't make it okay today for you to do it now. It's not today. It's obviously it isn't today. But the WWE is allegedly there's a documentary coming out. I think it's going to be that 24/7 series that they have going on the network, which is usually good. I don't like the fact that they're going to do it for Hogan in this situation. I don't think it's appropriate at all. I I think it's asinine that China is not in the damn Hall of Fame because she made a sex tape, but yet you reinstate someone who is
A racist.
a racist who came out and apologized, which I thought, I thought he was good because, he seemed sincere, but then makes a comment that, hey, this is the reason why I was making excuses for what he did. No,
And it's
like
Sage.
this is
you
ass
mentioned-
backwards, man.
What did they change the name of earlier? You mentioned it. The women's what? Because of what?
What was it?
Mae
The
Young's.
Fabulous
Fabulous
Moolah. Yeah.
Memorial. They changed the name of it because she didn't treat women, or the perception was
She
she
was a
didn't
sex
treat women.
trafficker.
Yeah, she didn't treat women. She treated women bad. But you're gonna bring this guy back? You completely revamped and changed the name of this trophy. But you're bringing Hogan back?
It's
Fabulous
money, man.
Moolah was. People said
it's money.
she did this. There's no proof. There's no hardcore proof. But there's proof Hogan said this. Google it. Anybody could find it. You don't that word if I saw him, if Hulk Hogan walked past me right now and he said, "Hey, you know what, brother, I'm really sorry. Hey, how about I tweet out, hey, go listen to the IRWP." That would do a ton for us, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't sell my soul to the devil, man.
Never.
I mean, I would never do that. Like, I'm a Hogan mark. I will say it through and through. I am a Hulk Hogan mark. Like, I grew up with Hulk Hogan. I love the work that he did. As a character, he's an icon. He belongs on the Mount Rushmores of wrestlers. But that aside, from a humanitarian standpoint, I can't get behind someone who makes excuses for their transgressions. There should never be an excuse for it. It should be, I messed up, I fucked up, I was wrong, I plan to make amends for it, and that should be it. I don't plan to profit off of it. I don't plan to make a TV special about it. I messed up, I was wrong, and I'm asking for forgiveness from my peers, from my cohorts, from those who have been impacted by it. That it should have been left at that, and we could have moved on, and we probably wouldn't have even had this discussion at this particular level. But I'm pissed. Like, I literally am pissed off that this whole thing is going on, and I hope to whoever you worship that the community boycotts this redemption special that's coming on, because it's a travesty for it to anyone to try to profit off of this. Like, I can't get behind it.
It's bad.
I'm even at the point where I might, like, if they do it, man, I might seriously get rid of the network.
If Hogan, because with him being reinstated, that leaves the door open to Hogan making an appearance in the ring. Not fighting, but coming back. This generation doesn't remember Hulk Hogan. We're past Hulk Hogan.
No.
This generation remembers John Cena, Roman Reigns, maybe a little bit of the Attitude Era, but the child generation doesn't know who Hulk Hogan is at all. They know who John Cena is, and now they know who Roman Reigns is. Hogan isn't a draw at all. Maybe he's a cherry on top. No knock on the guy. He's got money, fame, etc. But WWE doesn't need him for anything.
Oh,
He's old news.
I agree, man. And again, it sickens me to my stomach that they are considering to do a redemption special. And you can reinstate this guy, but you can't put China in the damn Hall of Fame.
Yeah, China did porn, but you can't bring her in. A guy says the N-word, but it's okay to bring him back. That's the thing, is to officially bring him back. No one cared that he was kicked out of the Hall of Fame. No one cared. That story could have ended And we all, honestly, as wrestling fans, we all would have thought, well, technically he's in, because in the wrestling world before he said that, yeah, he's pretty much a part permanently of the WWE greats. But yeah, I think we've kind of touched on it more than we need to. It's just bad. Hulk Hogan, I hope for the best for you, but I hope for the best for you, man. I'll just say that you're not welcome in my Hall of Fame. Not based off what you said. You're not sorry. You're not remorseful. You can't say the N-bomb and then go hang out with black people or do something for black kids. It doesn't work that way at all. Just the fact that that word was in your vocabulary. Step the fuck off, man.
Yeah, man. Like, literally, I would actually have him on the show so that he can hear our peace of mind on the thing. I mean, that, and not for no promotion or anything like that. I wouldn't even tag it or anything like that, but just so that he can hear it from someone who's actually impacted and affected by it. Like, I would do that. But as far as all this profiteering stuff off of this, man, y'all can go fuck yourselves. And I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. So, fuck off.
Yep, that's what I'm saying. Heated debate. You knew we had this coming. It was good to get it off the chest. Once I saw that he was reinstated this weekend, I just thought, oh, hell no, I got to talk about this on Thursday.
Yeah. Oh, I got to do a quick correction to what I just said. When I said I would have him on, I meant to say wouldn't with the D apostrophe T, wouldn't NT.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing. I was thinking about when you said that I'd have him on the show. I was like, he would come on the show because he'd want to appeal to the black vote, but
wouldn't.
No.
Wouldn't.
Would not. That's right.
Would not have him on the show.
Other than that, before we wrap up the show, outside the ring, Cain Velasquez, former UFC heavyweight champion and training partner of Daniel Cormier, for current light heavyweight and heavyweight champion, at the WWE Performance Center this week.